In this video, we are going to talk about how to plan for your wall panel delivery and installation. Hi, I'm Chad Johnson. I'm with Truss Components of Washington, and I've been in the truss industry for over 30 years. Let's get started. The purpose of this video is to help make sure that you have a smooth experience for your wall panel delivery and all the way through installation. And that starts with an accurate set of plans. An accurate set of plans means a few things. One, the sheets align from one to another dimensionally and in the content from the foundation to the framing to the roof plan and elevations. Things like wall heights are called out and they match from one elevation to another. Ceiling profiles are on your elevations and also your cuts and your overhead plan views. That way we know if we need to account for a vault ceiling or a flat ceiling or something like that with the way that we design our walls. Also, the opening locations and sizes are very important. To note, different types of doors and windows take different rough opening sizes. So if you have specialty items like casement windows, it's important to call that out so that we can make the rough openings for those windows the appropriate size. And this should be part of a discussion that your designer has with you, but if it's on the plans ahead of time, it just makes it go that much more smoothly and quickly. Another thing that's very helpful is to note the center lines of your hold downs, and that way we can accommodate for those either by putting the appropriate studs or posts in the walls or making sure that we don't have a stud or post in the way of where that hold down goes. Next up, we'll want to make sure that the design matches your current plans. So once your wall panel design is completed by the designer, it's good to compare it to the set of plans that you're building from. We want to make sure that the dimensions on our design match up with the dimensions on your plans, and also that the profiles match up. Sometimes there are changes made to the plans. Maybe part of the house gets bumped out a couple of feet or a vault is added that wasn't on the original plans. We'll want to make sure that that's communicated to your designer so that it's represented on the design that he does. So after the details have been confirmed, then it's important to give appropriate notice to your manufacturer. And that's to ensure that there's time to process the paperwork and build the walls and find a spot in the delivery schedule to get them out there when you're going to be ready for them. I recommend the more time, the better, and also to be as realistic as possible about your schedule. Another item that's very important to review is job site access. And this can be done at any portion during the process. The sooner the better, but we'll want to make sure that you have an adequate pad for the boom truck to set up. That generally means about a 24-foot by 24-foot flat area with a very solid surface. Also, we'll want to make sure that there are not any overhead obstructions, such as tree branches or power lines that would impede the boom from moving the product from the truck to where it goes on your building. Especially on day of delivery, it's very important to make sure that there isn't material in the area where the truck is going to need to set up. So any lumber or dumpsters or sheet goods, cars, any of that stuff should be clear of the setup area on the day of delivery. That not only helps the truck get in, but also ensures that no one's vehicle will get damaged or that sort of thing. Another thing that sometimes gets overlooked is making sure that we have a correct address with a cross street. With all of the northwests and southeasts and norths and those sort of things, it is pretty easy to find the same address in two different parts of the city if you don't have that specific direction part of the address. And so make sure to include if it's a northwest address or a north address or whatever the case. One of the later parts of the process in finalizing your order is making sure that all of the agreements are signed. And this will include a purchase agreement The purchase agreement states the price for the product, and it also indicates the profiles of the walls. And so as a manufacturer, we need to have the assurance that we've answered all of your questions, that you understand what you're getting and agree to it. And so that signature lets us know, yep, we are ready to start producing. And the other thing that needs to be worked out ahead of time is payment terms. So if you're a customer that is going to be ordering repeatedly, you may want to set up credit. Or if you are only an occasional purchaser, we'll have you prepay. But that just needs to be worked out ahead of time, and that helps the process keep moving smoothly. Now we're getting very close to actually receiving the wall panels. And so last few things that need to be done on site are to make sure that the building is ready for walls in line with the schedule that the manufacturer intends to deliver. And that means having the floor installed wherever the walls are going to be placed, whether that floor is wood or a concrete slab. Also, the locations of the walls need to be marked on the floor, and it's best to work from the layout that we've provided in order to make sure that the dimensions match the product that we're going to send out. That should, of course, match the plans because we took time earlier to make sure that our design matches the plans and your intent. Once the day has come to receive the walls, it's important to have the necessary labor on site. That's going to be at least 2 people to aid the truck driver in unloading the walls and standing and bracing them around the perimeter. The exterior walls will be set by the boom as long as we can reach them where their location is. The interior walls will be placed in bundles close to where those walls go. The reason for the difference between the exterior and interior is generally the exterior walls are much heavier because they're going to have sheathing on them, and putting them around the perimeter and standing them up leaves a lot of space to set the interior walls in. Then the interior walls, they are light because they don't have any sheathing, and they can usually be moved by just a couple of people to exactly where they go and stood and put in place. The walls are typically built a 1/16 of an inch shorter than, or I should say they're designed a 1/16 of an inch shorter than the true dimension that you would expect for the length of the wall. And that's because things tend to grow a little bit. So that 1/16 of an inch allows for a little bit of growth, a little bit of anomaly. And then once the walls are put end to end, they end up being the proper dimension. But you do want to make sure to set them with a tape measure. In the instance that they don't grow, it's better to have a 1/16 inch gap at each wall intersection. That'll nail together just fine, rather than at the end of a line of walls being short a few 1/16ths because that gap wasn't taken into account. Like I mentioned a moment ago, the exterior walls will be set in place and braced upright where they go. The interior walls will be set close to where they're going to go in bundles. Once that's done, the truck is likely to leave the site, and that's going to leave your crew to stand the interior walls. Once the interior walls are stood where they go, you can brace the interior walls, top plate all of the walls, plumb and line, and then you can lay out for the next product that's coming. So whether that is your floor trusses or your roof trusses, you can get that layout ahead of time on the top of the walls. So once your exterior walls are stood and braced, you can stand your interior walls and brace them off, get all your top plating on and your layout for the next product, whether it's roof trusses or floor trusses, and then you're ready to clear the area for the next delivery. I've enjoyed talking to you a little bit about how to get ready for a wall panel delivery. We want to make sure, like I said, that it is just a smooth, hassle-free process for you. If there are any questions that you have, of course, you can talk with your designer or your salesperson. We're always happy to help. Up here, you can see a bit about roof trusses, and down here you can see a bit about floor trusses. We'll see you on the next video.